Great. Welcome everyone to our special meeting of council for this evening. We have full council in attendance with us today. Councillor Link from Ward 1, Councillor Bisetti from Ward 2, Councillor Kleiber from Ward 3, and Councillor Parag from Ward 4. Also joining us are CAO Brent Alnick, and coming into camera, Ms. Shahada, our Director of Finance as well. Before I read the resolution to open up the meeting, I think it would be important for us to have a moment of silence in honor of Queen Elizabeth II, who died earlier today. Our condolences are with the royal family. We extend our condolences to them, losing a mother and a grandmother. As the longest reigning monarch in British history and Canada's head of state for 70 years, the Queen dedicated her life to public service. Her leadership was a symbol of strength and stability, not only to the people of Britain, but to everyone around the world. I would ask that we bow our heads and observe a moment of silence for our Queen. Thank you. I will read our resolution for this evening to open up our meeting. Be it resolved that the meeting be called to order and that the agenda for the meeting be adopted as circulated. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Bisetti, seconded Councillor Prague. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, and that is carried. Thank you. So our items we are discussing in camera, I will read the resolution to move us in camera. Be it resolved that in accordance with section 152(3) of the Municipal Act, council do now move in camera to discuss legal matters. And be it further resolved that in accordance with section 83(1)(d) of the Municipal Act, any issues that are discussed are kept confidential until discussed at a regular meeting of council. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Prague, seconded Councillor Link. Any discussion? Go ahead, Councillor Link, and then Councillor Kleiber.
The RM informed me I would be interviewed by the complaint investigator during the week of June the 22nd. This is, of course, in regards to item 3.1.2. I waited about 5 weeks, and then on July the 22nd.
Councillor Link, I'm just going to stop you right there.
No,
just because the information that you're talking about is in-camera information that's locked. And so as a respondent to a complaint or a complainant, that information is in-camera information. So we don't want to be breaching in camera. I'm wanting to protect you and your reputation and discussing things that are locked and that we're going in camera to discuss as legal matters. We're not able to discuss out of camera. And so administration has muted you for that reason, to protect you and to protect the municipality from breaching in camera information. Thank you.
Coming in camera for the financial statements, I recuse myself from the code of conduct as I have in the past. I want to be consistent with my actions, so I will be recusing myself from that discussion or any discussion that is concerning that. Thank you.
Thank you for letting us know. I have a mover and a seconder to go into camera, and I will call for the question. All those in favor?
Opposed? I will not be going into camera.
I'm sorry, Councillor Link, I couldn't hear you. Go ahead.
I will not be going into camera for the reasons stated, and I was cut off for the entire thing.
As just a heads up, we are going in camera with the auditor at your request.
Is that first?
Pardon me?
Is that first?
We will be dealing with the auditor, yep, first, and that's at your request.
I will be leaving in camera when it comes to the discussion of the complaint for the process that was denied to me. Thank you.
Thank you. And again, I want to caution you on that you've been discussing process related to an in-camera item and breaching in camera. And
No,
so
I
I just,
haven't been
you've
reaching
been
in
cut off
camera.
by
I've been
administration and not myself because you're putting the municipality at risk by breaching in camera and speaking about the
I'm not
details of an
breaching in camera.
investigation report that are an in-camera item. We respect that process under the
I'm
Municipal Act, Section 152, that I just described in reading the resolution.
Not breaching
I'd
in
like
camera.
to, we've moved to go in, and so we don't normally have conversation while there's a vote. Are you abstaining, Councillor Link, or you are yes that we're going in, or you were a no?
I'm not going in. I have seen the.
That's good, thank you. If you
Okay.
voted no and you're not going in, thank you so much.
Perfect.
And that is carried. We are going in camera to look at the financial audited statements and a code of conduct investigation. Thank you. camera. I'm just waiting to see if Councillor Kleiber and Councillor Link rejoin us as they recuse themselves from discussion in camera. And I'll just give it one more minute and then we'll proceed. All right, I'm going to proceed with our resolution. So we discussed a number of items in camera, and Councillor Link recused herself from both discussions in camera, and Councillor Kleiber recused herself of the Code of Conduct member discussions in camera. Our first resolution 3.3.1, I will read. Be it resolved that the Council of the Rural Municipality of West St. Paul accept the 2020 final audited financial statements as presented by the Exchange Group Chartered Accountants LLP. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Prague, seconded Councillor Bisetti. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will request a recorded vote and I will call for the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. And our next item, Ms. Shaw, I will have you read the two resolutions regarding the council members' code of conduct.
Should I be leaving right now? Could I have advice, please?
Go ahead, Councillor Kleiber, sorry, go ahead.
I said, should I be leaving right now?
I don't believe you need to leave, but in recusing yourself from this item, you probably would be best not to be voting on it since you did not
Oh, I'm
participate
not
in the
going to,
discussion
no,
or hear
but
the
you want me
conversation.
to leave the meeting is what I'm asking. No, You're okay with me staying in the meeting then? Okay.
Right, thank you, Council. I have the first resolution following in camera related to the Council Members Code of Conduct 2022-01 is as follows. Whereas a complaint was filed under Code of Conduct for members of Council Bylaw 2021-13, alleging a contravention of sections 3.1, 3.2, 7.2, 7.5, 7.6, 7.7, and 12.4 of the Code of Conduct for members of Council Bylaw. 2, the Council of the Rural Municipality of West St. Paul passed Resolution 2022-151 to permit the complaint against Councillor Link to proceed to the next phase of the formal complaint resolution process and be investigated by an approved third party as selected in accordance with Section 9.21 of the Council Members Code of Conduct Bylaw 2021-13. 3, Legacy Bose has been selected in accordance with Section 9.21 of the Council Members Code of Conduct Bylaw 2021-13 as the approved third-party investigator. 4, the Council of the Rural Municipality of West St. Paul approved that the municipal legislative officer be appointed as a liaison between Legacy Bose and the rural municipality regarding the Code of Conduct Investigation 2022-01. 5, Legacy Bose delivered a final detailed investigation report dated September 6, 2022, the final report, which found that Councillor Link did contravene Section 7.5 and 12.4 of the Code of Conduct for members of Council Bylaw by sending a personal submission to the Appeals Director by email in contravention of provincial legislation. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the Rural Municipality of West St. Paul, having reviewed and considered the final report at an in-camera council meeting, hereby affirm the findings therein that Councillor Link did contravene the Code of Conduct.
Thank you, Ms. Shaw. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Bisetti, seconded Councillor Prague. Any further discussion, which would require us to go back in camera? Hearing and seeing none, I will call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, and that is carried. And Ms. Shaw, we have a second resolution.
Yes, Madam Mayor. The second resolution reads as follows. Whereas 1, Legacy Bose delivered a final and detailed investigation report dated September 6, 2022, the final report, which found that Councillor Link did contravene Section 7.5 and 12.4 of the Code of Conduct for members of Council Bylaw by sending a personal submission to the Appeals Director by email in contravention of provincial legislation. 2, the final report made certain recommendations on sanctions to be imposed against Councillor Link in the circumstances. 3, Section 11.1 of the Code of Conduct addresses factors to be considered by Council when determining to impose sanctions on another member of Council. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Rural Municipality of West St. Paul, having reviewed and considered the final report from the approved third-party investigator, including recommendations on sanctions, hereby imposes the following sanctions. That Councillor Link be issued a written reprimand from the municipality's legal counsel in regards, as recommended. I apologize. I just need to check my note there. That Councillor Link be issued a written reprimand as recommended in the final report from the municipality's legal counsel in regards to the contravention of Section 7.5 and 12.4 of the Code of Conduct for members of Council Bylaw. And 2, that the written reprimand be available to the public.
Thank you, Ms. Shaw. Can I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Bisetti, seconded Councillor Prague. Thank you. Any further discussion, which will require us to go back in camera? Hearing and seeing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Thank you. And now if I can get a mover to adjourn our meeting for this evening, our special meeting, moved by Councillor Bisetti, seconded Councillor Prague. Go ahead, Councillor Bisetti.
We have Councillor Kleiber and Link back in on this? They were just out for the resolution on this. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Bisetti. Councillor Link is jumping in and out and has jumped out again, so I'm assuming she's not wanting to vote on this. Councillor Kleiber's been listening but not voting, and so I have a mover and a seconder on the vote to adjourn. I'm not going to force anybody to vote, but absolutely people should be voting. I will call for the question. All those in favor of adjourning our special meeting? Opposed? And that is carried. Thank you. We'll see you in a few minutes for our regular planning meeting. Thank you.